sharing our stories connects us. Listen and be connected. Join us for the conversation meeting weekly at the intersection of community and culture. Hosted by Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter. Oh, I love that. I just love the sound of that intro music. It gets me going each and every week. Welcome, everybody, to this Christmas Eve edition of The Conversation on WMNF. WMNF.org if you're listening anywhere in the world. I'm one of your two hosts, Mario Nunez, and I'm seated, as always, by my able partner, Joe King Carter, who's fast at his microphone. Hey, Joe.
Hey, good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you,
Yes,
sir.
to you and to all of our audience listeners.
Especially that one of you that's listening in the car right now.
That one.
And you know who you are.
Yes.
That one special person. Hey, Joe.
We are so happy to
It's
be
Christmas
here.
Eve, partner.
It is.
You know what? I know it's 80 degrees outside, and listen, this is how it feels like in the Southern Hemisphere
Yes.
on Christmas Eve.
Yes.
We have this misconception that Santa is a big guy, he's jolly, his cheeks are rosy, and he comes down the chimney.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That's our lore, and that's what we think about on Christmas. But you know, in the Southern Hemisphere, Santa might come at you with a surfboard off a beach somewhere in a pair of Bermuda shorts. You know what I'm thinking?
He may indeed. I'm a native Floridian, and when I was a boy, we had to cut snowflakes out of white paper to glue up on the tape up on the windows. And I thought to myself, even as a child, why are we cutting out snowflakes? But yeah, I get it completely. And you know what? Let us also say Happy Kwanzaa.
Yes.
Let us also say Happy Hanukkah.
Yes.
And let us say that these are the holy days of the year for everyone who feels holiness in their body somehow. And I'm always excited by Christmas. I'm like a little boy because this was always
A special time.
a special time. And it's time of giving.
And for the rest of us, well,
Right.
there might just be
A Festivus. Yeah.
So there it is. We
There's
covered
that.
all bases,
Also,
Joey.
I want to say,
Yes.
just so we make sure we have addressed everyone who is listening.
Yes.
For those of you who are not celebrating Christmas, for those of you who are having a hard time, for those of you that are pressured and stressed by Christmas because maybe you have to be around your toxic relatives, for whatever the reason may be, please let me let you know that I have had some miserable Christmases in my life, and I understand what it's about. And it's a hard time of the year for many people. So for those of you who are out there doing your thing and spreading the cheer, think of other people too, and think of what they're going through, and give a little. It's the season of giving. And if you don't have money for a gift, I've got a suggestion.
Go, Joey, go.
The suggestion is that hugs are free.
Oh.
And science has discerned that if you hug someone for more than 25 seconds,
Blood pressure?
because most people go in for a hug and then pop out.
Right.
If you hold it for 25 seconds, it creates serotonin and oxytocin in your body. It minimizes the bad chemicals, and it's actually really healthy for you. And a hug is free, and you can give that gift to everybody this Christmas.
Joey, and I'll just say, and I'm a big hugger, and I know you are, Joey, and
Yeah.
whenever we greet each other, we do it.
That's it.
And we don't just go with that bro hug. We go both arms, baby.
Yeah.
We come in for the real thing. But I just want to suggest also, in the spirit of giving, that you might want to check if you can go in for that hug, because, you know, in these times of litigation, man, you give a hug where it's not welcome, you
Well,
might end
yeah.
up on the wrong side of that argument.
Yeah.
Okay.
We should print a shirt that says hug free.
Hug zone.
Hug zone accepted
Yeah,
here.
there you go. There you go. Okay. There's your PSA for today.
There you go.
So if you have somebody that you care about and there's kindness and there's love there, go in and get you a
Give 'em
hug,
a big
man.
old hug.
And listen, it's important that you do
Bless your heart.
Get in there, go cheek to cheek. Get in there, go cheek to cheek.
Yeah.
And when you're in there, remember, Joey, deep breath in through the nose.
There you go.
And let all in and out, and then you can reset.
that's
It's a
the
hard
good
reset.
stuff.
It's a hard reset for your
That's the good
mind, your
stuff.
body, and your spirit.
Yes.
Hey, Joey, we're excited. Who's in studio with us today, man?
Well, you know, I'm very excited because we have we're standing right here, right now, at the intersection of culture and community.
Amen.
And there is a cultural icon in the WMNF community, a man who has had a show for many years on Saturday afternoons, the 60s show. And I don't know that other people know this, that Dr. Bob Dr. Bob Lochte was professor and department chair of journalism and mass comm at Murray State University in Kentucky for many years. And he has the credentials to say I'm a cultural expert. And also, he produced the award-winning Christmas in the 50s, a 2-hour radio show that was award-winning. And he also produced the Eisenhower show for many years, the Eisenhower Hour. So he is our cultural expert today. Welcome, Dr. Bob.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Bob. Thanks for coming in on Christmas Eve. I know it's a big ask.
We are so happy to have you here. Now, before we go any deeper,
yes,
I have one last thing before I really turn it over to Dr. Bob.
Yes.
I'm going to ask each of us to answer this question.
Okay.
What is your favorite, I think everybody has one, what is your favorite holiday movie? Go.
Oh, man.
You can only pick one.
Serious?
Well,
okay, all right. Okay.
I'll give you a one and a runner-up if you want.
So because I had the experience last night.
Yes.
Just last night.
Yes.
As I was doing a bit of channel surfing just before the midnight hour. It was about 10 minutes to midnight. I happened upon the last closing scene of It's a Wonderful Life.
Yes.
Okay? And so, again, it's what's in front of you. It happened to be the scene where Zuzu's pedals.
Yes.
And he discovers that, his mouth is bleeding again. Mm-hmm. And, of course, he runs to the house, and people showed up. And I found myself, Joey, weeping. It happens. That's the scene. It's the same as with when the scarecrow and the balloon takes off. Or just before that, and she turns to the scarecrow and she says, "But I think I'm going to miss you most of all." It's like, okay, here come the waterworks.
Sure.
So last night it was "It's a Wonderful Life." Jimmy Stewart.
Yes.
When he went and he hugs the family and he hugs Zuzu, you my little ginger snap. I'm thinking, no, here it comes. So anyway, It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a Wonderful Life. Bob?
Okay, this is one you won't think of. It's The Thin Man.
Wow.
The Thin Man with William Powell, Myrna Loy.
Yes.
It has the best Christmas party ever on film in that movie.
Oh, wow.
And I watch it every Christmas day.
Ah, excellent.
Joey?
Well, I have to kind of go along with you, and this will give me a chance to do my one of my most favorite impersonations, which is this.
Martini?
Which is this. Hang on.
Clarence?
You once called me a warped old man.
Mr. Potter.
He says, by God, George, you are worth more dead than alive. Yes.
Mr. Potter.
Mr. Potter. By the way.
So It's a Wonderful Life for you, too?
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's my top movie. My number two would be the 1954 version of A Christmas Carol with Alistair Sims.
Got to argue with you. I like Mr. Magoo better.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, everybody has a favorite of that. I have a good friend, Beverly.
A Christmas Story. Listen, you got to throw in Elf in there because, that's delicious itself.
Well,
Will Ferrell.
Some people think that George C. Scott's version
James
of Scrooge. But I got to tell you, of all the villains in all of the films of all time, I think that Mr. Potter,
he's a creep, isn't he?
He's a creepy guy.
That's Lionel Barrymore.
Yes.
And
Drew Barrymore's grandfather.
What an amazing performance he gives.
He bangs on the window and he says, hey, Merry Christmas, Mr. Potter. And Mr. Potter says, go on home, George. They're waiting for you. Go on.
Right. He just is such a foul human being who seems to represent something we're dealing with right now, which is the corporate run over of America and these guys that are only transactional and they only think about money and that's all they think about. That's who he represents, and he's there in our consciousness.
All right, so this is the time when we relinquish the steering wheel.
There we go.
And the gear shifter, the clutch included. Over to Dr. Bob. Dr. Bob, what do you got in store for us?
Well, okay, I've got a few things. I've got some dusty discs for you. I told you we're going to play Christmas music. And, I just want you to know that we like Joe King here, but there's more than one Joe King. You aware about that?
Come on.
Yeah. And I want to tell you about one. His guy was led a big jazz band, a popular jazz band in New Orleans, early 20th century. Joe, nicknamed King Oliver, and his band. And there was this section of New Orleans called Storyville. This is where all the saloons and all the nightclubs and all the gambling joints and all the brothels were and so forth. World War I comes around and the U.S. Navy tells the city of New Orleans, close this down. We don't want our sailors hanging out there.
I see.
So they did. And of course, Prohibition was coming up, a couple of years later. But so it put a bunch of musicians out of work. Mm-hmm. And what they did was they got on the Illinois Central Railroad and they went north. Some of them ended up in Memphis. Some of them East St. Louis. Chicago became the Jazz Central. So Joe King Oliver took his jazz band, all African Americans, by the way, up to Chicago, and he brought with him. Joe played cornet and trumpet. He brought a young cornet player that he had picked up in New Orleans. He knew this guy was better, and he needed him in his band. This was a guy. He was a black orphan child. He was adopted by a Jewish family and raised by a Jewish family, and he was incredibly talented. You know who I'm talking about, Louis Armstrong.
Of course,
yes,
absolutely.
So let's start with a Christmas song by Louis Armstrong.
Is that you, Santa Claus? Gifts I'm preparing for some Christmas sharing, but I pause because hang in my stocking, I can hear a knocking. Is that you, Santa Claus? Sure is dark out, ain't the slightest spark out upon my clacking jaw. Who's there? Who is it? Stopping for a visit? Is that you, Santa Claus? Are you bringing a present for me? Something pleasantly pleasant for me. That is just what I've been waiting for. Would you mind slipping it under the door? Old winds are howling, or could that be growling? My legs feel like straws. Yeah, my, oh me, my. Kindly will you reply? Is that you, Santa Claus? Yes, hanging the stocking, I can hear a knocking. Is that you, Santa Claus? You stopping for a visit? Is that you, Santa Claus? Oh, there's Santa, you gave me a scare. Now stop teasing, cause I know you're there. We don't believe in no goblins today, but I can't explain why I'm shaking that way. Then I can see old Santa in the keyhole. I'll get to the cause. One peek and I'll try there. Oh, there's an eye there. Is that you, Santa Claus? Please, I pity my knees. Say that's you, Santa Claus. That's him, all right.
Nothing like Satchmo,
that's
huh?
wonderful. That is absolutely wonderful.
Well, that gets us into the first question of the afternoon. Who was Santa Claus?
Thank you.
You know, and
Old Saint Nick?
Old Saint Nick. There you go. Nicholas. Nicholas was a Greek child. This is talking about late 3rd, early 4th century. So he was an orphan son of some wealthy Greek Christian parents who lived in what's now Turkey. And he ended up devoting his life to the church. He became a priest, later a bishop, and he really looked like a serious cleric. You know, he's wearing ecclesiastical robes and a pointed hat. He had a gray beard, not a white beard, and his skin was perhaps a shade darker than mine. So anyhow, throughout his life, he gave away his entire fortune to rescue prostitutes, organize rescue missions for sailors lost at sea, making gifts to children, and what we now call Christian charity. So Bishop Nicholas, he was at the time, kind of created this. And after he died, he was beatified and made into St. Nicholas. And the Feast of St. Nicholas, you know when that is?
Tell us, Bob.
December 6th. The Feast of St. Nicholas.
Oh,
So you just mixed
interesting.
it. And that was the tradition there was to give gifts.
So Three Kings Day, which is January 6th. Okay, we're
Okay,
with
we're
you.
going to get to that in a little bit.
We're with you.
Okay, so this is
This is a
the
great story.
historical St.
Yeah, we
Nicholas.
love this.
Okay, according to legend, though,
Mm-hmm.
St. Nick comes back years later, and he arrives in the Low Countries of Northern Europe, Belgium, Holland, that area. He comes in from Spain on a ship loaded with gifts, and he has a black Muslim sidekick named Black Pete. And in Netherlands today, they still celebrate
Black Pete.
with Black Pete, yes. And the Dutch called him Sinterklaas. Sinterklaas was the Dutch name, which in German was Santa Claus. So somehow, and again, the costume is not exactly right, and the face and the jolly old elf is not exactly right. But so there's Santa Claus, Northern Europe, and those people come over here and bring their tradition
You
with
can
them.
see
So-
the evolution. You can definitely see.
yeah,
Santa
and
Claus.
I want to come back to that. I want to come back to Santa Claus
Please.
a little bit. But right now, I want to play one of the best-selling Christmas records from the year 1950. And the tune was called Boogie Woogie Santa Claus. And almost no one has heard it. It was an R&B hit for Lionel Hampton and his big dance band that Patti Page covered. And in a session in early November, Mercury Records said, well, Patti could do this. We get a Christmas record on the market and so forth. Well, every single record, A-side has a B-side.
Yes.
And, of course, these were all for dance. People would, dance to the music. And so you'd have an up-tempo on one side and then a slow dance on the other side because the music business was the jukebox business. There were 500,000 jukeboxes in America in 1950. So if you got a hit record on, say, 200,000 jukeboxes,
You're going places.
and you had to replace it, wear it out every week, you sell 5 records to each one of those operators, you've sold 1 million copies. So that was the business. So, but anyhow, what happened? They looked for this number, and it was a slow dance number, also an R&B hit by Erskine Hawkins, that had been a country and western hit for Pee Wee King a year earlier. Well, it was the B-side that was the hit. No one listened to Boogie Woogie Santa Claus. No one remembers it. And this B-side was number 1 for 13 weeks. It was on the chart for more than 6 months. 2.5 million copies sold. Made a big star of Patti Page. And now they just did a simple arrangement. Patti came back and recorded a double-track harmony vocal on it. And I know you know this tune. We can all sing along. It's called the Tennessee Waltz.
I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz when an old friend I happened to see. I introduced her to my loved one, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember the night and the Tennessee waltz. Now I know just how much I have lost. Yes, I lost my little darling the night they were playing the beautiful Tennessee waltz. I was dancing with my darling to the Tennessee waltz when an old friend I happened to see. introduced her to my loved one, and while they were dancing, my friend stole my sweetheart from me. I remember the night and the Tennessee waltz. Now I know just how much I have lost. Yes, I lost my little darling the night they were playing the beautiful Tennessee waltz.
I tell you what, guys, we're talking about diversity here this month on WMNF, and we have a white female singer who's covering a black swing band there, who's covering a hillbilly polka band from Wisconsin.
Huh? It doesn't get any more DEI than that.
Wow.
Okay.
Pretty good stuff.
Yeah. We'll get back to Santa Claus, but let's talk about Christmas. Why is Christmas on December 25th?
As we've always been told, it's the birth of the baby Jesus.
But the thing is, we don't know when Jesus was born. There's some indication, you can do some external things like the shepherds tending their flocks.
Yes.
Well, the shepherds weren't out tending the flocks in the middle of winter.
Yes.
The sheep were in the pen, the shepherds were in the house sleeping it off. So that was probably in the spring of the year.
Right.
Well, again, in the spring is the really big festival for the Christians, which is Easter.
Correct.
Rebirth, right? The
You
rebirth?
can't really celebrate the two at the same
Eggs
time.
and bunnies.
Well, who was the most important conversion to Christianity, you think?
Joey, you want to take a whack at it?
Conversion?
Yeah.
Wow. I unless you're talking about...
I'll tell you who I think.
Yeah.
Emperor Constantine.
Oh,
of
okay.
Rome, 312.
Yes.
He had this vision of the cross, but he converted, and then he declared Christianity to be one of the official Roman religions, and he
Right.
called this council of elders. And then there's rumor that St. Nicholas may have been in this, although there's no evidence one way or the other. But they came to Nicaea in Turkey, and he said, you organize this church. I want this to be, competing with the Roman gods and stuff like that. So, and they did, and they included, actually, they decided what was going to be in the Holy Bible. There were a whole bunch of scriptures of the Torah and the Psalms and Proverbs and the stories of the prophets and then the gospel stories of Jesus and the Acts of the Apostles.
Various
letters.
books.
Yeah, all these scriptures were out there, and they decided this is in and this is out. So they basically decided what was in the Bible. Well, so they wanted to celebrate the birth of Christ, but they didn't, as I say, they didn't know when. And they decided, let's put this in the midst of this season of celebration and become part of that. And of course, the Roman Empire is important, but you also had Hanukkah.
Yes.
Many of the early Christians were converted Jews, and Hanukkah is we just completed
now?
it and so forth. It's on a lunar cycle,
Right.
But you had all of the solstice celebrations. The Druids and the pagans and so forth would celebrate the beginning of the light coming back and so forth. And the Romans, one of their big festivals of the year was Saturnalia, which went on for an entire week, 17th through the 23rd of December on the Roman calendar. And it was followed closely by the celebration of New Year. So they thought, well, let's put it right in there. And
This would be the celebration of Saturn, the god Saturn?
Yes. December 17th through 23rd. So they said, wait a couple of days. And there's actually a minor Roman feast on the 25th. But so they stuck it there. And then they began to assimilate all these symbols of these other celebrations. So the greenery, the mistletoe, the lights from Hanukkah, and they also decided maybe we should expand this a little bit. So we have a whole celebration. So here comes Advent. So we're gonna think about the birth of Christ and predict it and get ready for that. And we'll start maybe the Sunday before this Christmas day, or maybe 2 Sundays. We back it up 4 Sundays. By golly, we can roll in the feast of St. Nicholas, and we can start giving gifts.
Those wily Romans.
Yeah, and then they decided,
They knew how to party.
well, we stretch it the other way, too, because,
Right.
the 3 kings didn't show up for 12 days.
That's right.
And so we're going
January
to go
6th.
to 12th night or Epiphany or whatever. So now all of a sudden we've got, all the way the month of December into January is the Christmas season. So that's kind of how it happens. So we don't really know when Jesus was born, but the early fathers of the church said, we're going to celebrate the fact that Jesus was born. We're not going to worry about an exact date. We're going to celebrate that. So,
Right.
And they added, music. Musical traditions, special music for Christmas, and eventually they started writing these songs in languages that people understood other than Latin, and they have Christmas carols and so forth. So all this kind of comes together. So
Way before Johnny Mathis and Andy Williams. I'm just throwing it out there.
and Perry Como.
Thank you.
In his red sweater.
Oh,
Yes.
Yeah, on RCA Color TV.
And Gene
Yes,
Autry and Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
You need to do an ID.
Let's go ahead and roll through that ID if we've got it ready. Guys, we'll come back on the other side and finish this fascinating conversation. You're getting a history lesson today.
Hi, I'm Keith Sedita
And I'm Jill Sedita, and you're listening to The Conversation
with Mario Nunez and Joe King Carter
on
WMNF 88.5 FM in Tampa.
That just goes to show you this conversation host was so enthralled by the conversation that we ran right over. But because Dr. Bob is looking at me and the clock is over my shoulder, he aptly said, "Hey, do you want to do a station ID right about now?"
Bob's acting as administrator.
If you're just and a wonderful one at that. If you're just joining us on WMNF 88.5, you're listening to The Conversation with Mario Nunez, Joe King Carter, and today Dr. Bob Lotke is in studio with us, I should say. He always lives here anyway. And he's giving us a wonderful history lesson through music and words.
Well, I tell you what, I want to get back to Santa Claus, but something that occurs to me that that's really in the top of our mind these days is the commercial aspect of Christmas, which, I'm not really a big fan of, but again, it's part of it. And all of a sudden now we're celebrating Black Friday.
Correct.
Which is, an accounting concept for the retail industry, and people are saying, "Oh, Black Friday, got to go buy stuff on Black Friday." So anyhow, so we'll talk a little bit about commercial Christmas, and I've got a song. I got a dusty disc about this from the comedian Alan Sherman.
On the first day of Christmas, my true love gave to me a Japanese transistor radio.
On the second day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
Green polka dot pajamas
and a Japanese transistor radio.
It's a Nakashima.
On the third day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A calendar book with the name of my insurance man.
green polka dot pajamas and a Japanese transistor radio.
It's the Mark IV model. That's the one that's discontinued.
On the fourth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A simulated alligator wallet.
a calendar book with the name of my insurance man, green polka dot pajamas and a Japanese transistor radio.
And it comes in a leatherette case with holes in it so you could listen right through the case.
On the fifth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A statue of a lady with a clock where her stomach ought to be.
a simulated alligator wallet, a calendar book with the name of my insurance man, green polka dot pajamas and a Japanese transistor radio.
And it has a wire with a thing on one end that you could stick in your ear and a thing on the other end that you can't stick anywhere because it's bent.
On the sixth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A hammered aluminum nutcracker and all that other stuff.
and a Japanese transistor radio. On the seventh day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A pink satin pillow that says San Diego with fringe all around it and all that other stuff.
and a Japanese transistor radio. On the eighth day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
An indoor plastic bird bath
all that other stuff.
And a Japanese transistor radio.
On the 9th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A pair of teakwood shower clocks.
and a Japanese transistor radio. On the 10th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
A chromium combination manicure scissors and cigarette lighter.
and a Japanese transistor radio. On the 11th day of Christmas, my true love gave to me
An automatic vegetable slicer that works when you see it on television, but not when you get it home.
and a Japanese transistor radio.
On the 12th day of Christmas, although it may seem strange, on the 12th day of Christmas, I'm going to exchange. An automatic vegetable slicer that works when you see it on television, but not when you get it home.
Chromium combination manicure scissors and cigarette lighter.
Pair of teakwood shower clogs.
Indoor plastic bird
A
bath.
pink satin pillow that says San Diego with fringe all around it.
Hammered aluminum nutcracker.
Statue of a lady with a clock where her stomach ought to be.
Simulated alligator wallet.
Calendar book with the name of my insurance man.
Green polka dot pajamas.
And a Japanese transistor radio. Merry Christmas, everybody!
So how much of that is going to be under your tree tomorrow?
And to all a good night.
You know, when I was a kid, the greatest thing on earth would be to have a Japanese transistor radio.
Oh, yeah.
That dates me, but that was the biggest thing you could
And
get.
Dr. Bob, remember, there was a period of time also when I remember as a kid, maybe in the early 60s or so, this is like just post WW2 and all the Hiroshima and Nagasaki,
Yeah.
when you turn a little toy over and if it said made in Japan, there would be Snickers.
Yeah.
They would be like, oh, that's,
You'd think it was junk.
yeah, that's Snickers.
It was
Yeah.
junk, yeah.
Boy, have we come a long way, haven't we?
Yeah, no kidding. Okay,
absolutely.
Toyota changed their mind about that, didn't
That's
they?
right.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So again, Christmas has become a commercial phenomenon, and this has primarily happened here, in the United States. And I think it's probably media driven. Of course, I would think that obviously, but the media concept of Santa Claus is. And how it developed is it's a different dimension and so forth. The first I found was in a children's book, an illustrated children's book from 1821, Images of Santa, and he was kind of a little guy and kind of scrawny and kind of ugly.
Almost elf-like?
Scrawny, yeah, almost, yeah, but he had a scraggly kind of brown beard and wore either a green or a like a dirty red coat and a big fur hat, big like a beaver fur hat on his head. And there's one of these pictures that has him on a small sleigh with one reindeer drawing it. So this is 1821 illustration. The very next year, we get the publication of that poem, A Visit from St. Nicholas. You know that one? 'Twas the night before Christmas,
And all through the house.
not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Yeah. Okay. So that's published, and it becomes very popular. It's republished, and it's in anthologies and so forth. Interesting, that was originally published with no author listed. And 2 poets claimed authorship. And we still don't know to this day which one of them actually wrote that, or if one of them, if it was someone else. But 2 of them claimed authorship and so forth. Well, anyhow, move ahead a few years. There's a very popular periodical called Harper's Weekly. And they had an illustrator and cartoonist named Thomas Nast. And during the Civil War, he started drawing pictures of Santa Claus, what he thought Santa Claus looked like. And one of the first ones had Santa Claus visiting the Union troops on the battlefield and distributing gifts. Santa Claus is dressed in stars and stripes.
Uncle Sammy Santa Claus?
Yeah, this is a black and white illustration, so you don't see the colors. But the coat has got stars on it, and the pants are stripes. And he's sitting there giving out gifts to the troops and so forth. Thomas Nast did a total of 33 illustrations of Santa Claus over the years. And finally, you get into the 1880s, and he's got this image that we can all relate to. The cheeks, the white beard. Yeah, portly. And then they started distributing it in color and he's got a red suit. Doesn't have the hat. He's got a garland of holly.
Okay.
A holly wreath on his head. But so we begin to see sort of what Santa Claus looks like in the media, and then because all of our media are advertising supported, advertisers jump in and say, well, this could be Santa Claus could sell our shoes or whatever. And Coca-Cola was one of the first companies to do this. Coca-Cola started running color ads with their pictures of Santa Claus drinking Coca-Cola. And that's probably the image, those Coca-Cola ads from the 1920s and 30s.
Yes.
That's probably the image of Santa Claus that we have now.
You know what else came in the 1920s, Dr. Bob? That Macy's Day Parade. And I bet you that any money they kind of merged together, and that's how that happened.
And by the way, Bob, one other thing, real quick thing. In reading in the last few months, I found out that Coca-Cola was being consumed a lot more during the warm months.
Yes.
And they wanted to open up the winter market.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's part of the reason they chose Santa.
Right. Santa Claus was the perfect pitch man, and then you start seeing, as I say, department store Santas, and Santa Claus is kind of everywhere in the retail business. So, but and then you have what I call the secular Christmas developing. We started getting pop songs about Christmas that aren't necessarily religious. We start getting printed media, movies. We've mentioned a couple, radio shows, later TV shows. We continue to kind of expand this Christmas
commercialization of Christmas.
Yeah, commercialization, absolutely. So the advertisers are jumping into what is already been established by the media. That's the way I look at it. And that's the way advertising works.
Perfect storm.
Yeah. And now, of course, we can extend that wonderful idea, the African-American celebration of Kwanzaa, which is starting Friday, maybe?
Yes,
okay. So now we've got this whole Christmas
season
that was kind of established by the Advent Epiphany calendar, and now it becomes a wonderful time for gift giving, which is a wonderful thing to do, becomes very commercialized. And those gifts get more expensive, more exotic, probably more useless.
And the guilt that gets on people about going and getting those gifts. You buy gifts for people you don't know with money you don't have, and you know what I mean?
I got you. Well, anyhow, I thought we would do another one of these pop culture songs, and I think, Joe, you suggested this one to me, so I thought we'd do it. This is a song written by a Jew. Irving Berlin wrote this song, and it was for a Broadway show called Holiday Inn, which became a movie.
That's right.
Became a movie, and the concept was these people run this country inn, and they have a different floor show every month commemorating a holiday. And the grand finale is December, Christmas Day, and they sing White Christmas. Well, Irving Berlin admitted first off, he was a Jew, and he'd never seen snow on Christmas Day. But he wrote this song. Bing Crosby made it famous. And Bing Crosby had to cut a new master every year for several years because they wore it out. They couldn't press any more records on that one. And they didn't have audio tape yet. That came in later, so he had to just go back and re-record the song every year for 5 or 6 years. So anyhow, but this is not the Bing Crosby version. This is one that I really like, and Joe, you liked it. I appreciate it. It's a doo-wop version by the Drifters, and we've got their bass singer, Bill Pinkney, and then the second chorus, Clyde McPhatter kicks in, and it just goes wild. Gorgeous. So here we go, the Drifters, White Christmas.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where those treetops listen and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. Then I am dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days
of a white Christmas with every Christmas card I write.
May those days, may your days be merry and bright. And may all your Christmases be white. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ooh.
That's just.
I'm telling you, I'm sorry, Bing, but you don't have it.
That's delicious.
That does it for me and so forth.
Yeah.
So basically what we have now, I think Christmas, it's an umbrella term.
Yes.
You know, it describes an event, a whole season, whether it's part of your religious celebration or a secular celebration, or just wanting to get together with friends and neighbors and have a good time.
Yes.
This begs the question, and two-parter. One's a comment, one's a question. The comment is thus: if it's not today, it's soon, and it will be every Christmas from henceforth. We, King, I'm speaking for you now, we want Dr. Bob to come in here and please read and record "'Twas the Night Before Christmas." the entire poem. We want that from you so we can have that in our archives, because from henceforth, if we keep hitting our fundraising goals, we're gonna do that. And what were we talking about just a second ago about Christmas?
Yes, about it, secular and celebrated as a word.
Where did and to your point, Christmas in July. We love it so much that we need a 6-month marker to celebrate another. You know, you've heard that. Oh, it's like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
Well, there's no Christmas in July, but
No.
if something happens to you gives you that Christmas feeling.
Yeah.
Well,
it's Christmas in July.
It's the Hallmark Channel, isn't it? They
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
all those Christmas movies.
Need to sell some more merchandise.
Yeah, no
Christmas
kidding,
in July.
no kidding,
Well, I
no
think you're
kidding.
absolutely right, Bob, and Dr. Bob, in the sense that we have words in our society that we use with carefully because they have so many meanings to different people. God is an example,
Yeah.
or love, or loyalty, or these are, and Christmas has become that word. It's not a thing now that's defined in a specific way. And maybe that's because, in a weird way, two things have happened. Number one, the commercial corporate aspect has gone crazy and
Yes.
mad.
For years.
And number two, everybody's made it their own. Whatever Christmas means to you is what it means to you.
Well, we have a few minutes left here, and I want to kind of go around here and talk about Christmas, because you guys both from Florida.
Yes.
And I think Jessica over here is from somewhere up north, Wisconsin, maybe. Okay, yeah. And I'm from Tennessee, but I spent every Christmas until I was like 17 years old right down here in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale. Let's talk about those Christmas experiences just a moment. And something that's common to all of us is Christmas dinner.
Yes.
So tell me something.
Yum.
Something that you remember about Christmas dinner. It's kind of one little anecdote. So Mario, why don't you start?
That we always had Christmas dinner, Christmas Eve, which in our culture we refer to as Noche Buena, which is good night. It was always at my grandmother's house, the matriarch of the family, my mom's mom. It was a real tiny little home, 2-bedroom, 1-bath home. We would all pile in there. Sometimes we'd have to eat in shifts. And we always had the traditional Noche Buena fare, which, of course, just about every Spanish restaurant here in Tampa now you can buy on a Tuesday in August. But it was the roast pork, pork with the yuca, the black beans and rice, the trimming. But I also have a Puerto Rican side to my family, and so we would also have something that we call pasteles, which is like a tamal for those of you that are familiar with tamales. And those were the things those are the touchstones, the culinary touchstones that when I eat them, regardless of what month it is, regardless of what time of year, it's a little bit of Christmas all year long.
That's great.
That roast pork with that yuca.
Okay, Joe, what about you?
Christmas dinners for me represent love. It represents my mother. I was essentially raised by my mother as a single parent. My father was present, but he was sick and sort of out of the picture. So a lot of love at Christmas from my mother, making sure that everything is right. And if either she or my grandmother together are cooking the food. Christmas could be at our house, could be at my grandmother's house, could be at one of my aunts and uncles' houses. My mother was one of 9, so there were many choices of houses. But I remember that very well. And the other thing I remember was it was the only dinner of the year in which the children sat at the children's table. And I thought, what the heck is going on here? Because I think, at the age of 9, that I'm an adult.
What was your favorite dish or side?
Well,
what tickled your taste buds?
I come from Georgia crackers.
Cornbread.
And so it's a pretty southern kind of meal. So you might have at a Christmas dinner, you might have some black-eyed peas, and you might have some kind of special dessert, by the way. There's a lot of... I'm always amazed by people who are focused on pies. We had lots of cobblers, incredible cobblers, yeah.
And coconut cake?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we would have, of course, the turkey and the mashed potatoes and the gravy. But it was always a kind of southern bent to it. And what I did say to all of you earlier was, I do have one pet peeve about Christmas dinners. It is, quit messing up stuffing and dressing. People want to do all these fancy things where they're putting cranberries in there and they're putting
mushrooms.
Oysters and mushrooms and all that.
No.
It should be a simple dressing that's very tasty. It's comfort food. You can't make it better.
Now, Jessica, you're Jewish, so you didn't really celebrate Christmas, but you probably went out to eat somewhere.
Correct. That is normally correct. So Christmas dinner to me means Chinese takeout. Because those were the restaurants that were open on Christmas Day, and along with bowling alleys and movie theaters.
Ah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you this earlier. I managed a movie theater for a while, and our biggest single ticket sale day was Christmas Day.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I think that's still true in the movie business.
Hence why they release so many blockbusters middle of summer and Christmas Day.
Yeah, they do that, and the people, they open their presents, do all their stuff, and they get bored, and they go see a movie and so forth. Well, as I said, I spent Christmas in Fort Lauderdale from good family from Tennessee, and my grandmother was a good country cook. You go Sunday dinner at her house, you had fried chicken and turnip greens, and pinto beans and stuff like that. But she did something really different at Christmas because she wanted us to feel like we were in Florida. She cooked red snapper. And by that, I mean, there were 7 of us, and she would buy this huge fish. And, had the scales removed, the guts removed, and so forth. Just little salt and pepper, maybe some sliced lemons up inside of it. And then she'd get out her iron skillet, and she'd cook up some onions and throw in a can of tomatoes, and then she'd put that over that red snapper, put the lid on the roasting pan and cook it till those big chunks were just falling off of it. So you'd have chunks of red snapper smothered with these vegetables, maybe a few boiled potatoes on the side. And that's still my fondest memory of Christmas dinner.
Can I tell you what's wrong with that, Bob? Can I tell you what's wrong with that meal?
Sure.
I can say this on the radio. Not a damn thing. It sounds pretty delicious to me.
Yeah.
I mean, that sounds
good.
incredible.
Yeah. And I was
Stovetop, right? That was on the
sort
stove?
of out of character. I never knew her to cook fish other than that one day, that one dinner. So
special.
Yeah.
And I wonder where that came from. What
did you ever learn the origins of that?
Well, my grandfather used to go fishing. He used to go deep sea fishing down there.
Okay.
I think he would catch red snapper. And, they would have it whenever.
The prize cats, they saved it for Christmas.
Yeah, well, not really. They go to buy
They go
fish
frequently?
But anyhow.
Beautiful.
Well, guys, this has been fun.
It's been great
fun. This is, it is a very special season, and I hope everybody is getting ready to relax.
Yes.
For a few days.
Yes.
It's been kind of a tumultuous year at best. I mean, I don't even know how else to describe it. It's been very...
Yeah, it's just uneven.
Started last January 21st. I don't know what that indicates, but it's been a little up and down, but mostly down.
We'll get into that.
Yeah.
At some other time and so forth. But but no, as I say, I think the fact that we don't really know when Jesus was born, but we do have this date set to celebrate that.
Yes.
And so that's kind of for anyone who grew up in a Christian church, that's kind of where we tie things together,
Right.
Things before Christmas, after Christmas, and so forth. You've got New Year's coming up. Obviously, Hanukkah just over. We've got Kwanzaa celebration, and there's still some amongst us some Wiccans who still, celebrate the solstice and so forth.
There you go.
Which we just had, right? Which we just experienced.
I don't know if we had Saturnalia or not, but
Right. But it's not uncommon for all of these holidays that we celebrate, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, and so on, to be tied to some very ancient history.
Yes.
Because I know in the case of my people who were mostly, Celts or Gaelics, essentially,
Yeah.
the Catholic Church would do things like put primitive symbols on the churches to get the pagans to come in.
Yes.
Into
And
the
this was
church.
I think that was all part. I think it was all conscious.
Yes.
Decorating with greenery. And mistletoe. That's all. That all.
Well, the
comes
tree,
under
bringing the tree in the house.
That's right.
And then you had to decorate the tree?
Yeah.
And the Yule log and all this. So
These are pagan symbols. Yeah.
Yes, and they're appropriated for good reason, so we can celebrate, you guys. Well, I have one more tune that I guess I can talk about a little bit. There was this guitar player who I think actually taught everybody how to play the electric guitar, and it's not Jimi Hendrix. This is 20 years or so before
Les Paul.
Jimi Hendrix. Yes, Les Paul, indeed. He did more to show people what you could do with the electric guitar, and also recording technology, overdubbing and stuff like that, was all part of Les Paul's routine. And, of course, he invented a guitar, which the Gibson Company is still selling today, and it's probably their best-selling single model. So, but anyhow, I thought we'd hear some Les Paul, and you get a chance to hear him experiment with all these recordings. This is probably a 1950-51 recording here, and the tune is Jingle Bells, but it's interesting the sounds he gets out of his guitar on this, because he's doing several different parts and he's overdubbing and so forth. And for the most part, he's getting his guitar to sound like some other instrument, which no one had really thought of.
Right.
They just bring in someone to play that instrument in the studio and so forth. So anyhow, this is Les Paul with Jingle Bells, and in this one he gets his guitar to sound like a glockenspiel.
Wanted to take this moment to wish each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Feliz Navidad. Thank you, Dr. Bob, for coming in today.
Hey, love it.
We'll see you guys again next week. This is WMNF 88.5.
Merry Christmas.
Tampa.